Hello, kindergarten families. My name is Erin Kawamoto, and I have been teaching in the Lake Orion District for 18 years. A majority of those years have been in kindergarten, and I'm just really honored to be able to talk to you today about getting ready for kindergarten and preparing your child to embark on this wonderful educational journey. For parents that are returning and for new parents to our district, I welcome you to Lake Orion Schools. You're starting on a really wonderful part of your child's life, and Lake Orion Community Schools is a great district and a wonderful place to be and to grow as a learner. And I'm just so excited that you are starting on this journey. As a mom myself, I went through this journey last year with my daughter. She started kindergarten, and it's definitely like a memorable year and a really wonderful time in your life and your child's as they start entering school. I have some few slides to talk to you mostly about getting ready and some life skills that children need when they come into kindergarten, that would be really beneficial for your child and for a teacher like me, as I have like 25 fresh new young kindergarten faces and personalities to learn. These type of life skills are really helpful for your child to come in knowing and being confident and able to do as they start their kindergarten year. Okay, parents, right off the get, we're going to talk about a really sensitive yet humorous topic, which is using the bathroom, using the restroom, or as a lot of the children in kindergarten call it, using the potty. So we're just going to address this elephant in the room right off the bat and kind of talk about some things that we would love for your child to be able to do independently when they come into kindergarten. One of them is definitely flushing the toilet after they use the bathroom. We all share the bathroom, and it's just really important that we always flush the toilet when we're done. Another thing for boys especially is to practice using that urinal, especially without pulling all your pants all the way down to your ankles, because there's other kindergartners and other children in that school that are probably going to be using the bathroom at the same time as your child. So teaching them that skill. I know dads, you're probably going to have to get in there and teach that skill, but that's definitely a good skill for them to learn, is to be able to go to the urinal without having to pull their pants all the way down. Another thing is wiping. I know that that can also be somewhat of a struggle for some students, but that's definitely something you can practice just to make sure that we're clean and safe at school, as well as being able to have your child be comfortable enough to go into a bathroom stall, lock it and unlock it themselves, and feel comfortable and be able to do that. Depending on the school where your child is at, some kindergarten buildings in our district have bathrooms in the classrooms. Some of them do not. They'll have to go across the hall or down the hall a little bit and use a bathroom that other kids at other grade levels will be using too. So you might just need to have practice that skill so your child's comfortable going into the stall, locking it behind them. Those types of skills are practicing, and also being able to undo their pants, unzip them, unbutton them, etc. And another big thing in kindergarten is we're really promoting independence and teaching that. So a great skill would to have your child be able to verbalize if they need to use the restroom and be able to verbalize that to their teacher so their teacher knows. A lot of the times in kindergarten, we'll have students that have had to go, but they don't necessarily tell the teacher that they need to go. So we really don't know that it's an emergent situation. And that's how accidents happen, which are no fun for anyone. So that's something that you can also, all those skills about using the restroom are great skills for you to be practicing at home to get your child ready to enter into kindergarten. I'm coming in hot with another big aspect of kindergarten that is new to lots of students, is eating lunch. Eating lunch in the cafeteria with a bunch of other students is definitely a transitional activity that takes kindergartners a little bit of time to get used to. The one of issues takes them a little time to get used to is being able to eat all of their lunch in the short amount of time that we have for lunch. We usually have for lunch in kindergarten and in every grade level is usually like 25 minutes, 20 to 25 minutes. That's really not a lot of time. So when I always think when my daughter went to kindergarten, I always thought, less is best. Make sure whatever your child's eating, whether it's hot lunch from our school's cafeteria or you're packing a lunch, is to pack basic things that your child can open by themselves, that they can eat successfully and independently, and to be honest, to eat in a quick amount of time. So when you're thinking about that, you want to make sure that you're putting your child's food in containers that they can open independently and also giving them the utensils that they might need. Now, we will have some spoons and napkins and things on hand, but that's something that they'll have to raise their hand and ask for a lunch aid to get for them, which might slow down on their eating time. So making sure that they have those utensils, making sure that they're going to open everything in their lunchbox by themselves, that will give them a lot more time. Maybe practicing opening hard to open items like string cheese or milk cartons. That is a great practice item. My daughter and I know we practice. I would pack her lunch in the summer and we would kind of pretend that we were eating in the cafeteria to just kind of get her ready for that big transition. And also being able to talk to your child about like, there's going to be a lot of students in there. You're going to be eating at a table with another student. You're going to want to be chatting and visiting, which is important, but you want to make sure that you're eating too. Please don't be alarmed if your child comes home for the first couple weeks of school and they haven't eaten a lot of lunch in their lunchbox. That really happens. And a lot of teachers do allow, we do have a snack time throughout the day that they'll be able to eat a snack. So don't worry and think that lunchtime is their only time to eat. And a lot of teachers, depending on the classroom and the policies, some classrooms allow students to eat their lunch that they didn't finish during snack time too, so they have a little bit more time. So, and again, always having your child be able to ask for help, raise their hand and say, can you please help me open my yogurt tube or open something. We have lunch aides that are circling around the cafeteria the whole lunch period, so there will be people to come help, but your child might have to be a little patient and wait his or her turn while they raise their hand. Another thing is really having your child know like what items in their lunchbox they can throw away and dispose of, and what items need to be sent back home, like Tupperware and things that are reusable. Going through that with your child will help. And it will also save you from having a lot of Tupperware containers being thrown in the garbage, which honestly, I have to tell you, as being a kindergarten teacher for a long time, that does happen. And that's just kind of part of the game of kindergarten, is this navigating this whole kind of new world, this school world, and getting used to it. So I'm hoping these little tips regarding lunch can be helpful to you. And kind of you can work with your child on promoting their independence during lunchtime with things that they can open and eat quickly and successfully. Hi, I'm back again to talk to you some more about clothing in kindergarten. Again, we've been doing a lot of talking about promoting independence, having your child be able to do things independently in kindergarten. And this is a real area that we could use a lot of parent help before students enter into school, is this clothing piece. Being able to zip up their coats independently and zip up sweatshirts and be able to put on sweatshirts with hoods and actually be able to put on coats by themselves is a huge, huge benefit coming into kindergarten that will help your child. Because as I tell my kindergarten classes all the time, there's 24 or 23 of them, but there's only one of me. And to have me have to zip everyone's coat or tie everyone's shoe, I would be doing it all day long. So those are skills that a lot of times that once your child is a really good zipper, you'll notice that a lot of times in a lot of classrooms, they'll be going and helping students that might be struggling with their coat, which in turn helps me as a teacher. So things like zipping their coats, using their buttons on their pants, using those snaps like on those rain jackets, and being able to do them independently is a really big skill that you can practice at home. If your child's not ready for them to tie their shoes yet in the kindergarten year, that's okay. So Velcro shoes are always a great option to send into school while you're working on mastering tying those shoes at home. And that's definitely an okay option. There's so many options of shoes out there that have the Velcro that are easy for the children to put on and off. Another thing to be thinking about is like the snow boots. You really want, when the winter weather comes and the snow gear, is I tell a lot of my parents, as soon as those snowsuits become on sale, like at Costco or Meijer or Target, I definitely would snap up an extra pair of snow clothes that are strictly for school. Every school's different. Some schools have lockers that you can just keep their snow clothes in each week and then bring home on Fridays for washing. Some schools don't have lockers, so you'll be carrying your snow clothes back and forth each day in like a big winter clothes bag. It just really depends on your child's teacher, and honestly, the storage in their classroom. Do they have the storage to be able to store the winter clothes? But having them have their own separate pair of snow gear at school is really critical, because then it's there for them to use. They can bring it home and wash periodically. And another thing to really think about is snow boots. You want snow boots that they can easily pull on and step into and pull off. As cool as those snow boots are that tie, they really are cumbersome for them to be able to get on independently. So I would definitely, as you're looking and in the fall, as these things start to crop up in the retail stores, is be thinking about what type of snow clothing can I give my child that they can put on independently. Some snow pants are definitely tricky with the straps or the snap. So you really want to be thinking about what I can get for my child that they can do, that I maybe could get early and practice before we really need all that snow clothes. But when that first day, when the snow flies, it's an exciting day in kindergarten, but it's also a stressful day of them being able to get all that winter gear on independently. And they get faster and faster with practice, but that's something you can always work on and think about as it's coming up, is really practicing getting all of that, even the day-to-day clothing on, so they can independently put it on, take it on and off, and things like that. So when your child is in a situation like maybe they did have an accident or they went down a slide that was wet and they have to change their clothes, they need to be able to do those things independently, especially at school. So that's something that we could really use a lot of parental help on before school starts, is just promoting that independence with their clothing, making sure that they can do those things on their own. One of the last things that I'm going to talk to you about today is the big umbrella topic of social skills. This is such a broad topic, and it's really something that we work really hard on in kindergarten, and it's really one of our main focuses in all of that we do. We do a lot of academics, but we also do a lot of play, and with play, it brings on a lot of practice with social skills. And social skills are really, I would definitely say, probably the most important thing that your child is going to learn at school, and definitely an important aspect that you can start practicing now to get your child ready for kindergarten. I mean, when you think about it, like entering into school, this is your child's really first exposure in a situation where they're in this school building with all these different types of students at all these different types of age levels, all these different types of adults, their teachers, the support staff, their specials teachers, where they're coming in contact and encountering all these different people that your child may not have really had this experience or this exposure before. So it's something that as a parent, you kind of need to step back and think about, how am I going to get my child ready socially for kindergarten? And the one thing I would definitely give some advice or tips on is just practice. put your child in situations where they do have to socialize. And I know socialization, but maybe spending some time with family or friends that, you are feeling safe with, and play dates that will give your child a chance to practice some of these things, like waiting for a turn or playing a game and being a really good sport about whether they win or lose, and practicing that skill, practicing kindness with another child of their own age, whether it be a sibling or a family member, or even like a neighborhood play date, or another child that they've even played with at the park if you're going to the park for a visit. One aspect of really of social skills that you can have discussions and real life practice with your child is to talk about the difference between tattling versus telling. That's a really big issue in kindergarten. Is a lot of students might be thinking that they're coming and telling me, but when in actuality they are kind of tattling to get someone in trouble. And again, this is all age appropriate things in that 5 and 6 year olds do. And your child's kindergarten teacher is more than ready to help your child navigate through these social skills and social areas, because I like to think about when situations come up is that every moment is a teachable moment. Every moment is a moment that we can learn and grow from and help your child work through. But that's something that you can also be thinking about in your aspect as a parent of, you know, how can I give my child the most experiences they can to socialize with other children and to be prepared for especially this group classroom situation. A lot of students, when they come, they're really not used to being able to wait their turn for have someone help them or assist them. And that's something that's new. So it's talking about that, about patience and providing your child with experience where they will have to have some patience in order to receive some help, or in order to, receive something, is that they will have to teach your child, like, being able to be patient and waiting their turn for something or someone. Another aspect is really teaching your child how to have a conversation with someone else, how to do that response between listening and speaking. And when someone is talking, to be really listening and responding to what they're saying. That's something that I noticed, especially this year with my classes. We had to practice that a lot, because it's a lot different than a lot of us have been home. We've been in our homes with our families, and being able to really sit down with someone and to have a conversation with someone else and be able to listen to what they're saying to you and respond to what that person has saying is definitely a skill that needs a lot of practice. It needs a lot of development as your child, even through their kindergarten year. And even in my class now, and it's early May, and we're still working on having that conversation, asking your partner in class what they think, and listening and responding to what they say, whether you agree or disagree. So that's something like that you can really model for your child, whether it's in the car and you're driving someplace, is modeling those conversational skills around the dinner table, having your child share something that they noticed or saw, and you modeling listening and responding to them, and then have them listen and respond to you. That's something that can be really beneficial, because entering kindergarten, a lot of students I've seen is having them really be able to respond to other children is something that definitely can benefit all students entering kindergarten. And really being able to socialize with their friends, ask them questions. What do they like? What do they don't like? And let them share too. Naturally, kindergartners are really egocentric friends. They all want to tell you all about themselves, but they don't necessarily are listening or hearing really well what you're saying. And it's just something that's a skill that requires practice and requires patience, but something that you can definitely start modeling and working on now. It's just that aspect of having that conversation and socializing and really using their manners, asking for something politely, thanking someone when they've helped you. Those are all sorts of skills that I really try as a kindergarten teacher to model for my classmates and for the children in my class, so they can start modeling it for their classmates. It's just really trying to be the best, so human being and socializer I can be in front of them so they can see that example from me. That's something that definitely parents and you can work on as well, is really having your child, watching them in social situations, seeing what your child's comfortable with, and then working from there on how you can continue to develop and get them ready for kindergarten socially so they can make friends, can find connections between the people that these children that they're with all day. I mean, and ultimately that's what we want for our child. We want them to be able to go to school. We want them to socialize. We want them to have fun with their friends. And yes, we want them to learn how to read and write and do math. And all of those things will come. But socializing and social skills is really like the most paramount and important thing that really happens in school. And with that, then their learning blossoms from there. Is we really want your child, when you think about kindergarten, to look at the whole picture, not necessarily just the academics. It's really about that socializing, that social awareness, that being in touch with their emotions, being able to name their emotions and how they're feeling, and be able to talk about it. It's that whole aspect of the child, and academics is a piece of it, but it's not all of it. We were really in kindergarten was really thinking about preparing the whole child for their educational career. And as a kindergarten teacher, it's something that I really take not to really to heart, and I don't take it really lightly. I really feel like it's my job in their kindergarten years to really get them off on the right foot in their educational journey, and social skills and being able to socially interact and play and laugh and talk and have fun is a huge part of school. I really love to have my kindergarten students really love school and want to come to school every day and be with their peers and be with their friends. Those are the last couple slides that I was going to talk to you about today. And I just want to thank you for listening to what I have to say. I hope you find it helpful. And for all of the families out there, if you're a returning family to our district, I welcome you back. And if you are a new family into Lake Orion, I welcome you to this district with open arms. I really think you're going to love Lake Orion. You're going to love being a dragon, and your child's going to have a wonderful kindergarten year. Thank you so much.
Hello, parents. My name is Beth Bruce, and I'm an early elementary instructional coach for the district. I have been with Lake Orion Community Schools for about 15 years. I have taught everything from preschool to second grade, and I absolutely am passionate about supporting teachers with literacy skills. So I am really excited that I can talk to you today about some things that you can do to help get your child ready for kindergarten. I think Erin did an amazing job of talking about those life skills and the social skills that you can support your child with. So lastly, I just wanted to speak to you a little bit about some literacy related skills. Letters. Do not feel like your child needs to know every single letter and every single sound before they start school. There are actually many skills on the trajectory of learning to read that come even before this skill. That's why I mentioned rhyme. You'll hear me mention rhyming, syllables, being able to break up words. That's called phonemic awareness. But exploring letters and having fun looking for letters on like letter hunts and in books, playing letter games, reading alphabet books like this. That's great practice. Absolutely. If you want to help teach them something to get them ready for school, then have them learn the letters in their name. If they know their first and their last name, that's fabulous. If they can write their first name, even better. If you're going to help support them with writing their name, have them write it with their first letter capital and then the rest lowercase. If they've already learned to write it, they might be developmentally, it would be appropriate for them to be using all uppercase letters. But in kindergarten, they do teach them to transition to first letter uppercase and the rest lowercase. So showing them what those letters look like and having them practice that would be really supportive. My favorite topic, books. Yeah, enjoy books together. Read lots of books to your child. Visit the library. Have them check out books that look interesting to them, nonfiction and fiction. Nonfiction books are beautiful for teaching them about a topic. You know, if they're gonna want to check out a book or interested in a topic, maybe it's about sharks. Oops, it's backwards. Have them pick out 3 books about sharks, multiple books, so they really get a strong understanding about a topic. And the great thing about nonfiction is that you can start wherever you want in the book. You can start in the middle. And just have them touch the pictures and talk about what they're noticing and what they're learning from those text features. If they want to check out a really fat book from the library and you're thinking, oh my goodness, I have to read this whole book, you don't. Just have them pick a section or a chapter to read. But stopping often and having conversations about the book is a really important skill. In kindergarten, your child is going to start out the year with what we call Soulsby books. And those are like favorite traditional storybooks, like the Three Billy Goats Gruff, like Corduroy, Where the Wild Things Are. And the teacher will read these books to your child multiple times. And eventually, your child is not going to be reading the words per se, but they will be able to retell the story using that beautiful storybook language and all of that rich vocabulary. And it is so amazing to see. So thinking about if you're going to check out or look at fiction books, that you pick out books with a strong storyline and lots of characters and a beginning, middle, and end, and then support your child with talking about the story, maybe retelling it using that oral language to do that work. Don't forget about nursery rhymes. Nursery rhymes are super helpful with teaching rhyme. A precursor to being able to read is that you can produce and hear rhyme. So by singing nursery rhymes and reading nursery rhymes, you'll be able to help your child with that phonemic awareness skill. The next topic I would like to speak to you about is oral language. So giving your child opportunities to reflect and verbalize and retell accounts of their day is really critical, because if they can't tell a story, then it's really difficult for them to be able to write a story. So one tip would be, if you go somewhere, maybe to the park, and on the way home, ask them to tell you all about what happened at the park. What did we do first? What did we do next? Who was there? What did someone say to somebody? Right? What was that dialogue? So just by adding details, that is really helpful. Just giving them opportunities to verbalize and use vocabulary and use language. Another thing that's helpful is if you wanted to look at certain books with them, such as Lift the Flap books or I Spy books. They can tell you what they're looking for. Then when they find that object, they can describe it with lots of details. And again, it's just another way to help support them using that language. Please click on the next YouTube link associated with this Parent University event. Molly Dietrich, one of our amazing physical education teachers, is going to do a short presentation on ways you can support your child with motor skills. Thank you so much.